Imagine logging on to Z5 to find a brand new, highly anticipated film featuring a massive A-list star like Diljit Dosanjh. With acclaimed director Honey Trehan behind the camera, the project carried the weight and prestige of a major cinematic event. But within 48 hours, the film vanished. It was completely scrubbed from the internet in India, with the platform citing only vague, current developments for the disappearance. The situation became so desperate that the filmmakers and actors began encouraging audiences to pirate the movie rather than wait for a legal way to watch it. This wasn't a technical glitch. This was a deliberate digital erasure that forces a single question: what is this movie hiding? Before its brief appearance, the film spent 3 years in bureaucratic purgatory, trapped in the grueling approval process of India's censor board. The board's demands were extreme, requiring 127 individual cuts to be made to the footage. Their ultimate mandate was the total removal of the word Punjab, forcing the makers to rename the project Satluj to hide its specific geographical and historical identity. The state's mobilization of its censorship apparatus to erase these historical markers is an overt effort to bury the truth of 1995. That truth belongs to Jaswant Singh Khalra, a human rights activist who dared to look where the state wanted silence. Khalra investigated the darkest operations of the state in 1995, uncovering a reality hidden beneath the surface of daily life in Punjab. He exposed a system of mass corruption, the sudden disappearance of innocent civilians, and a wave of extrajudicial killings. Reviewers who saw the film categorize it as a visceral horror movie, where the historical reality turns designated protectors into predators. The terror here is grounded in the inescapable realization that the entire state system is actively hunting you. Diljit Dosanjh delivers a poetic, heartbreaking performance as Khalra, a man risking everything to demand basic human rights from an unyielding authority. He is countered by SSP Suga, a villain whose suffocating screen presence creates an atmosphere of pure terror, reminiscent of the most cold-blooded antagonists in cinema. Saurabh Sachdeva grounds the film's psychological toll with a dead-eyed, defeated performance, embodying the spirit of those broken by the system. These performances strip away the comfort of watching a movie, forcing the audience to experience the crushing hopelessness of the victims. This Salem principle means a corrupt system ignores bottom-tier suffering until flames of consequence reach the powerful at the top. Jaswant Singh Khalra was that flame, bringing accountability to the peak. Today, this film threatens to reignite that same systemic risk. The state suppressed Satluj because it is terrified of a citizenry that remembers its own history. By leaking the film, the makers abandoned commercial profit to ensure their original vision reached the people, sparking a conversation that can no longer be contained. The film fights a new normal, where society quietly accepts the fear of authority and sudden state violence as an unavoidable fact of life. To resist this, we must seek out the film, discuss its contents, and loudly question state brutality. While a digital file can be deleted, our refusal to look away is the only way to build a more accountable system for the next generation. In late 1600s Europe, innocent men, women, and children were being dragged to the stake. The authorities knew exactly what was happening. During the Salem witch trials, false accusations and religious executions were a matter of public record, and the state allowed the executions to continue while the common public suffered. But those trials stopped abruptly. The moment the governor's own wife was accused of witchcraft, the entire legal apparatus was suspended. Arrests ceased, sentences were amended, and prisoners were released. The chaos at the lower levels of society meant nothing to those in charge. It was only when the heat of those fires reached the highest officials that the machinery of execution was shut down. This paradox reveals a specific institutional logic. A system prioritizes its own internal hierarchy. As long as the mechanism operates efficiently for those at the top, the physical safety of the citizen remains a secondary concern. We see this same instinct for institutional self-preservation playing out today. The target is a film by Honey Trehan, originally titled Punjab 95. This chart shows the typical number of requests made by the censor board for a theatrical release compared to the demands made on this specific film. The board mandated 127 individual cuts before they would allow the public to see it. The Central Board of Film Certification kept this project in limbo for over 3 years. Their demands included the complete erasure of the word Punjab from the entire movie. Curious, you have to wonder what specific detail in a story about events from nearly 30 years ago triggers that scale of bureaucratic panic. When an institution scrambles to suppress a piece of art this aggressively, it is signaling that certain parts of its history remain too volatile for public view. The film centers on the true story of Jaswant Singh Khalra, a human rights activist working in the darkest days of the 1990s. Khalra documented a militarized environment where corruption led directly to thousands of innocent citizens simply vanishing. By investigating these extrajudicial killings and gathering proof of secret cremations, he placed himself in the crosshairs of the powerful people orchestrating the disappearances. He knew the risks and continued anyway. Eventually, the very system he was trying to hold accountable hunted him down, costing him his life. If the authorities assigned to uphold the law act as the primary threat, the citizen has nowhere left to call for help. Punjab 95 captures this historical dread through performances that emphasize the suffocating reality of institutional overreach. Diljit Dosanjh portrays Khalra with a quiet resilience, giving a human face to the massive tragedy he was documenting. This is contrasted against the terrifying presence of SSP Saini, played by Suvinder Pal Vicky. Whenever he enters a room on screen, the entire atmosphere drops in temperature. He operates with a cold, bureaucratic evil. His ability to terrorize comes from his institutional immunity. He knows the system will protect his actions, no matter how extreme. We still see this logic today. While theoretical rights are discussed on paper, the practical reality is that the legal process itself is often used as the punishment for those who challenge authority. The film's true horror is the realization that the weight of the system still falls heaviest on the individual, using many of the same administrative tools to silence dissent today. Frustrated by years of legal limbo, the filmmakers took a desperate gamble. They renamed the movie Satluj and uploaded the original version directly to the streaming platform Z5. The retaliation was swift. Within 48 hours of its premiere, the platform was forced to take the movie down entirely within India. Knowing exactly what was going to happen, the actors and creators went on social media and openly encouraged their audience to pirate the film. They willingly abandoned their box office returns and streaming revenue. Getting the suppressed truth in front of the public simply mattered more than protecting their financial investment. This institutional overreach relies entirely on our silence. We get used to the friction, we turn a blind eye, and eventually, systemic abuse just becomes the new normal we accept to get through the day. Deep down, most people carry a quiet anxiety that if they are simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, an unyielding authority figure can end their life, and the system will cover it up. Tracking down films like Punjab 95, watching them and having loud conversations about the history they cover is a direct counterattack against that fear. By refusing to let these stories stay buried in bureaucratic paperwork, we hold the system accountable. We chip away at the state's unilateral control, leaving behind a slightly less terrifying reality for the generation coming next.